A dividend investing approach for retirement can provide consistent income eternally without dipping into your investment principal. In principle, you will never run out of money and you will receive continuous income, similar to a paycheck. This seems fantastic. However, there are several potential complications. Even after dividend payments, owning stocks that fall in value can cause you to lose money. Furthermore, some corporations will simply discontinue paying dividends for a variety of reasons. Ideally, you want to purchase stocks in healthy, productive companies that provide consistent dividends while the stock's value improves over time. This way, you get both cash flow and appreciation. Where can you locate good stocks that grow and pay dividends? There is a subset of dividend equities that have a high probability of continuing to make payments. These are known as Dividend Aristocrats. Examine whether this set of stocks is compatible with your objectives. Welcome to Cashflow Canvas, where we teach lessons about investment and money-saving techniques. If you want to make your financial future better, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. A Dividend Aristocrat is an S&P 500 firm that has not only paid but also increased its dividend over the past 25 years. Every year, the list of businesses is reviewed and updated, and they must meet certain size and trade volume requirements. The list of firms is particularly appealing to own due to their remarkable track record of dividend increase. You may be wondering why these companies are so unique, because dividends are intended to be handed out on a regular basis. After all, that is why people appreciate dividends, right? Some businesses simply cannot afford to make payments during unsuccessful years. Various corporations curtailed or suspended payments totally last year as a result of market uncertainty. Wells Fargo, Dick's Sporting Goods, Carnival, and Goodyear were among the companies on this list. No company is immune to financial crisis, but those with a long track record of stability are regarded as trustworthy. Many well-known companies are on the Dividend Aristocrat list, including 3M, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Pepsi, McDonald's, and others. 3M, Coca-Cola, and Johnson & Johnson have a 57-year streak of dividend growth, while Pepsi has 47 and McDonald's has 43. With a total of 64 Dividend Aristocrats, they all appear to share some characteristics. The majority of the businesses offer recession-proof products or services that are required during multiple economic cycles. 3M, for example, generates the majority of its revenue from the sale of industrial safety and healthcare goods. Coca-Cola makes the majority of its money from soft drinks and snacks, which sell well in any market. McDonald's is actually busier during bad economic times because people avoid high-end restaurants in favor of cheaper options. Johnson & Johnson makes money by selling items such as Band-Aids, Tylenol, and Benadryl. Any given stock is most likely in the consumer staples, industrials, materials, or healthcare categories, with relatively few consumer discretionaries. When numerous corporations stop paying dividends, it's unlikely that really large companies will fail or experience severe disruptions during market cycles, giving them the appearance of being essentially invincible. They're established and aren't investing heavily in growth, therefore they're willing to offer greater dividends. Because each aristocrat is part of the S&P 500, it also meets the index's pricing size and profitability standards, making them safer and more stable investments. When compared to high-growth alternatives that do not give income and are developing at a rapid pace, the downside risk is reduced. On the other side, stability comes at the expense of reduced long-term returns, as is the case with most dividend equities. Just because a firm pays a consistent dividend does not inherently imply that it is a good company. A history of regular payments provides some information into the company's financial health, but it's merely a hint. Procter & Gamble, another dividend aristocrat, had a payout ratio of more than 60% last year. This indicates they pay out more than 60% of their earnings in dividends to shareholders. While it is a reliable corporation with a lengthy history, a payout ratio of 50 or less is recommended. Otherwise, the corporation may end up spending more money than it can afford. Some corporations even borrow money to fund dividends in order to seem healthy to shareholders and maintain their dividend status. This type of activity should be regarded as a red sign, as it does not instill confidence in its investors. If you're thinking about buying one or more of these stocks, it's clear that it's not as simple as picking firms at random and profiting. The Dividend Aristocrat list is a fantastic place to start for people who have the knowledge to assess the fundamentals of particular stocks. However, this does not mean that sufficient due diligence should not be undertaken. They still require proper financial analysis, as well as a look at their share price to see if it is acceptable. 3M may be a fantastic company, but buying it without evaluating its pricing is like buying a house without considering its list price. Just because it's a decent house doesn't mean it's a good house. Chances are you wouldn't buy it at the asking price. When expressed like that, it sounds utterly insane to make a judgment like that, but people do it all the time in the stock market. That is not investment. It is speculative. The issue is that consumers do not comprehend the firms they are purchasing. The simplest method to mitigate risk is to understand the firm you're purchasing and how it protects itself from competitors. The ProShares S&P 500 Dividend Aristocrats ETF, with the ticker symbol NOBL, is an ETF that allows you to buy a fund that only holds Dividend Aristocrats. The income isn't especially great, at around 2%, but you'll also benefit from capital appreciation. How much capital appreciation has this ETF returned, and how does it compare to the S&P 500 over the last 5 years? With dividends reinvested, the S&P 500 has returned about 17% each year, while NOBL has returned more than 14%. ProShares also has a 0.35 expense ratio, which is much higher than what Vanguard would charge for an S&P 500 ETF. In recent years, the list of Dividend Aristocrats has outpaced the market only a few times. One thing to keep in mind while selecting Dividend Aristocrats is that because a company must have raised its dividend for 25 consecutive years, your options are limited. To put it another way, there are many financially sound companies that do not make the list for a variety of reasons, including not being around long enough to qualify, not paying dividends long enough, or simply not making dividend payments a priority, preferring to focus on growing the business. Apple went public for the first time in 1980, more than 40 years ago. They raised their dividend on a regular basis, but management chooses to reinvest in new goods and technology to fuel further growth, rewarding shareholders with capital appreciation rather than cash flow. Ignoring Apple's potential investment 10 or 15 years ago would be a waste of money. Owning firms that have raised their dividends year after year, even during recessions, for decades could help you sleep better at night. Dividend Aristocrats can assist in improving growth while developing a retirement income portfolio. However, because all of the Dividend Aristocrats are included in the S&P 500, you could simply buy it instead. The dividend will be slightly lower, but growth will be higher due to the high growth exposure to technology stocks. The need for eternal dividend income may lead you to overlook potentially superior assets in order to sacrifice total returns for income. Consider whether you're doing it as a retirement strategy that will be useful in the near future or simply because you like the idea of dividends. If you're young, you'll probably be better off in the long run if you use greater growth options. As we conclude, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you found value in this video and learned something new, and I look forward to seeing you in our future videos. I would deeply value it if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support will help us to create more valuable content, and we can work together to secure your financial future. What are the key takeaways from this video that you can share in the comment section?